Sup Shredders, my name is Logan aka Spiderhands and welcome to SP Reviews, where today we're going to be checking out a track from an act named Kaiak titled Kharma Never Dies. And if we switch over to here, we're actually going to be able to watch a music video today. This is a music video from this duo from Sweden. It's been a while since I've listened to music from that part of the world, so we're going to listen through this track from start to finish, hear what we think. Let's go. Oh, that's gorgeous. Have I found a new favorite band? Again, I'm not saying this to be nice. I've legitimately been coming across some absolute bangers today. Chord progression there is like not typical. I'm gonna try and figure that out. I think they've got an A-6/G if I'm not mistaken. And then what was that second chord that they had? I've got to figure this out. This is so cool, man. Like legitimately. Did they just go down to like a B major 6? Did they just modulate down a semitone? And just... I know that's not all it was, but props to them. I've never heard that before on my time doing reviews. I love these jazzy neo-soul indie vibes that we're getting from this track. Dude, they are so creative. I love the fact that we're not just coasting off of these sort of traditional poppy triads of like the 1-6-4-5 and all that kind of garbage. We are messing with some relative majors and minors here. We are subduing expectations from the listener. We have a bit of prettiness in there, and then that last quarter is a little bit unusual and there's a bit of tension that's not necessarily off-putting, partially because of the gentleness, the gentle nature of the overall instrumentation and the textures and tonalities present. Also, the vocals are so soft and caring, dude. It's such charming music. I'm so impressed. Love the filtering on the drums as well. They're fantastic. Like, what instruments do we have there? Like, do we have guitars and... what stringed instruments are those? Before we go into this next part, because we're about to get into the drums, I'm struggling with this as a reviewer because there's so much to take in. They are aware that they can't just expect these really precise vocals here with these really gorgeous textures in there. The call and response harmonies, then the little oohs in the background there. We're building it further. We're not just satisfied with the original motif we have. We are continuing to add and keep the listeners' audience's retention, even if we don't even necessarily need to work as hard. It's a really simple drum beat, but it just works so well. You're better off without my roller coasting. Sorry, are we bringing in some lead guitars in here? Are we bringing some distortion? A bit of grit there? What are we getting ourselves into here? What journey, what adventure are we going on? And I'm sorry for pausing. There's just... I have to stop and take a breath, a moment to catch my thoughts, because we're just into the interlude now. This track is like 3 minutes long. There's just so much care put in. And change again. Can't you see? This old Kharma Never Dies. I love that parallel major at the end there and how we kind of riff off of those extensions further with those vocal call and responses. It's just so much fun to listen to. It's so much fun to listen to musicians who not only have a base level fundamental understanding of composition, but know how to push the boundaries within it to create something that, if used poorly or out of desperation, it might seem forced, but it's like they put these little intricacies throughout this song, and we got it. I love these additional synth layers, the sequences that are going on, that starry kind of vibe to it. And I think part of what makes it so chill is just watching the two of them pedaling their bikes down the road. That's the best part for me. It's just you get all this intensity sometimes with these bits that always tapers off because I don't want it to be too aggressive, you know, with the overall groove or vibe of it. But you've just got this incredible experience here. It's literally a song about two people realizing they're better off apart and that they're accepting that they might not work out, but it's probably for the better. There's just so many ways it could have been made cheesy or, you know, depressingly vapid. And changing the grooves of those drums into like a halftime. Did they change the tempo of the drums? Are they grooving into a different track? I have so many questions about it. These video gamey kind of synths here are just a fun little perky little addition here that I didn't expect. Dude, I can't handle how much I like this track. Again, because I am not putting myself in a position where I feel the need to say this to be nice. Kharma Never Dies by Kaiak. I gotta actually catch my thoughts here, because this is my review of this track by Kaiak. Yeah, I think I've spoken about what the story is about. The story is about someone who maybe they broke up with their ex, or their ex broke up with them, and they've realized, yo, I know that maybe I didn't take it necessarily as serious as I needed to. I just want to have a nice, happy, relaxed life. I don't want it to be really intense and overbearing and a massive burden. And you just eventually move away from each other, and you realize it is for the best, and you can like maybe even just bike together, but just not as a connection like that. You are both going forward, but you've gotten through your kind of drama and you're at peace with each other now, and you just want the best for each other. And I think, first of all, that is such a healthy thing to write music about. I love that attitude, that message we're trying to put forward there about coming to terms with what's occurred and trying to still find the best in people, even if you've been hurt by them. As long as you're not being abused, obviously, which is a different story. I think with this one, they just amicably split. And of course, it still hurts, but you're better off without my roller coasting. This old Kharma Never Dies. Like, the main message from the song, as I understand it, is that karma can be a bitch, a babe, or anything in between. How's yours? And I think that summarizes it really nicely. You know, usually karma, as I understand it, is when you do something, if you do something great, it can be really positive. That'll come back to you. And if you do something terrible, it'll come back to you. But I think the song is about making peace with whatever actions have occurred and just going, yeah, it happened. And I can't be continuing to regret and live in the past now. Whenever it happens, it happens. I will just try and do my best until then. The vocals are so charming. They're so charming and so youthful and vibrant and energetic. And I'm not going to pretend there was a massive amount of ornamentation or really ridiculous show of skill here. Like, we didn't do massive scale runs or anything like that, but we had enough within these key melodies here and these harmonies as well, and these additional tracked bits to really flesh out the vocal part of the song. And because the thing is, with a track like this, the instrumentation and the accompaniment is so intriguing that you wouldn't necessarily need to have vocals as often as we had them. So you really needed to make sure that when we had a verse section or we had a chorus section, that those words mattered and that the delivery was on point. And that absolutely mattered here. You know, that happened here, you know, especially when we had these interesting parallel major minors and extended harmonies and these interesting progressions and shifts and fluctuations of expectations, I suppose. Because yeah, that especially straight from the intro, a really good way of catching a listener's attention is actually just completely divert expectations with that chord progression. Some people will be instantly put off by that because they're not used to having that kind of movement, and they may even be. So I've had people be, because I teach music, I've had people be repulsed by it. But that's why you've got to try and present it in a way where it has context. Like, for instance, if you have vocals, it's not just the weird progression with the piano or the guitar or whatever, or the synth or whatever. It's like, it's more about the overall thing. And so that dissonance that may come from that weird chord change will be less because you've got everything else trying to smooth it over. I think what the strength of the song in regards to the structure, with it being like a verse chorus kind of vibe here, and then the layering over all the additional development, like the string sections, the bass, the drums, the synth parts later on, and the vocal parts and the harmonies and everything, is that you just never had a point where you were totally familiar and you never fully expected what was going to happen next. Even at an interlude, the interlude, you think, oh yeah, I'm getting used to this progression, and then suddenly the drums peter out, and you go, there's always little additions, little points of, it's a very special song. Maybe I've been missing out on a type of music that I have sorely been lacking in my life, but I wish I could listen to more of this kind of stuff. And as a music reviewer who gets to listen to music every day, that's not actually something that comes out of my mouth often. There are certain genres that I review a lot, and I can still enjoy it, but this is like a breath of fresh air to me, hearing something that is just so positive and so mature, and so it's like it's okay with itself. That's the overall vibe I got this from, the vocals to the way the instruments were played here, to the cute little harmonies and melodies and themes we had here for the various verse, chorus, interlude sections. You had people developing and growing and understanding the story better as we went along. Just, I suppose in general, you know, outside of the different, like, there wasn't a note out of place with the actual instrumental performance itself. It was very professional in that regard. The production, the recording, mixing and mastering was sensational. There were no resonant frequencies, the EQing was great, stereo padding, and effects changes on the different instruments were phenomenal. We didn't have anything totally saturated and stuff, which I think was a smart move. Have a little bit of an organic nature, especially if you're going with like the audio visual experience of people biking down the road. You don't necessarily need to have it like coded and like reverb and all that kind of stuff, but also if you have synth elements, you kind of need to balance it out, because effects changes are kind of a given with synthetic instruments and stuff like that. You know, you got to kind of make everything work. The glowing together with limited compression was great. Just overall, Kaiak with Kharma Never Dies is an absolute banger, and they should be proud of themselves. And I wish them the best of luck in future. Hopefully this review made sense. Thank you for watching my review of Kaiak's Kharma Never Dies. Hopefully you enjoyed it. If you did, please do go show them some love via their various social medias. And I believe they're on all major digital streaming platforms. If they're not already, they will be. I'm assuming this is probably on YouTube, because it's a music video, I suppose. It'll be on YouTube, I'm not sure. Stay cool and stay safe, and please remember to support your local musicians and artists at this point in time, as you need to help more than there with all the crazy stuff going on in the world. And I will catch you in the next review. Spiderhands Out.